baby boo. Today you shall go on a wonderful adventure.
Get ready for a wild ride as we dive into the hilarious chaos of Baby's Day Out. In our 6th movie recap, we follow the pint-sized protagonist, Bink, on his daring adventure through the city streets, outsmarting bumbling kidnappers at every turn. It's a roller coaster of laughter and heartwarming moments you won't want to miss.
I know where he is.
Bennington Austin, Bink, Cotwell IV, the 9-month-old son of socialites, Lorraine and Bennington Austin Bing, Cotwell III, lives in a mansion in a suburb of Chicago and is just about to appear in the social pages of the newspaper. 3 very clumsy criminals, Edgar Eddie Mauser, Norbert Norby LeBlanc, and Victor Vico Riley, disguise themselves as baby photographers from the newspaper.
You were expecting us.
And kidnap Bink, demanding a ransom of $5 million. After the kidnapping, however, the criminals have difficulty controlling Bink at their apartment. Norby attempts to put him to sleep by reading his favorite storybook, Baby's Day Out, or Boo Boo as he calls it,
Things there were to buy.
only to fall asleep himself from boredom, leaving Bink unattended. Looking through the book, Bink notices a pigeon on the page and then one by the window. He follows it out and successfully gets away from his kidnappers. The ensuing chase culminates in Eddie falling off the building and into a garbage bin. Norby and Vico rescue him, and they begin pursuing Bink across the city.
You want to maybe get to the right of...
The FBI arrives at the mansion, headed by Dale Grissom,
Dale Grissom, FBI.
where they try to piece together clues along with Bink's parents and his nanny, Gilbertine. Meanwhile, Bink, now outside on the ground and crawling about, finds another part of his book, the blue bus, which he then boards. The criminals realize he's escaping and start chasing the bus in their van, but their efforts are in vain. Meanwhile, on the bus, Bink crawls into the bag of an obese woman who gets off at her stop shortly afterwards. By the time the criminals catch the bus, they realize Bink is not on board and follow the lady, leading to a physical altercation after she catches them. In the distraction, Bink crawls up to a revolving door at the entrance to a department store and is forced inwards by its momentum. He is stopped by an employee who works for the store's daycare center, believing he's another baby who escaped from there.
How did you get out of Mother Goose Corner?
He then escapes from the store and eventually crawls into traffic after a ride on a taxi. Meanwhile, Bink's parents receive a phone call from a concerned citizen, Joe Depke, who believes he saw Bink with a woman, Mrs. McCrae. Depke feigns memory loss when questioned until Mr. Cotwell pays him money.
Please, your money's no good here. Put it away.
In the McCrae's apartment, the couple realizes it's not Bink and apologizes for the inconvenience. Mrs. McCrae tells them she prays Bink will come back to them and knows how she'd feel if it were one of her kids. Just before leaving, she tells Bing that she believes someone somewhere watches over the babies. The couple tells Mrs. McCrae they hope she never is in their place for her children's sake and expresses hope that someone does watch over the babies.
Yes, I hope so.
The criminals attempt to follow him, but keep getting injured in the process as he makes his way to the city zoo. They are shocked to find him in the ape house with a western lowland gorilla, who shows a paternal side and does not injure him.
I think the ape likes the kid.
The gorilla also feeds Bink with some of his fruits. The criminals try to retrieve him, but the gorilla notices them. He pounds Vico's hand, throws Norby into the air using a mop as a catapult, and hurls Eddie against the bars of another nearby cage. The criminals corner and catch Bink in the zoo's park, but are confronted by 2 chatty police officers who have noticed that their van's engine is still running. During the conversation, Eddie hides Bink under his coat in his lap, but Bink reaches for Eddie's cigarette lighter, setting his groin on fire and sneaking off as soon as the officers are gone. Vico extinguishes the fire by stomping repeatedly on Eddie's groin. They then follow Bink to a construction site where they experience several near-death mishaps, such as Vico getting thrown off the building and into the back of a garbage truck, Norby falling into a vat of wet cement, and Eddie getting stranded on a crane after being hit by a hammer and drenched in glue. The sun then sets as Bink and the construction crew leave the site. After managing to escape, the criminals give up on catching Bink and return home. Bink's parents are notified of various sightings of him in the city, and Gilbertine deduces that he has been following Baby's day out and will most likely head for the old soldier's home next. Sure enough, Bink has made his way inside the home where the elderly residents entertain him with a rendition of Irving Berlin's "This is the Army, Mr. Jones." Lorraine and Bing run in and joyously embrace Bink. On the way home, he begins to call out for his boo-boo towards the criminal's flat. Lorraine believes he is looking at the clock on top of the building and tries teaching him it's a tick-tock. Gilbertine again deduces he wants his book and tells Lorraine there's no tick-tock in the book. The recuperating criminals, upon hearing Bink calling out for his book, realize that he has returned, and upon looking out the window, to their shock, they find themselves surrounded by the FBI. They also find Bink and his parents standing outside the building as well. As Eddie berates Bink for ratting them out, Grissom forces the criminals to return Bink's book. Back at home, Bink is put to bed by his parents, who discuss having his photograph taken by a normal photographer in the morning, while, unbeknownst to them, he wakes up and gets ready to read another book titled Baby's Trip to China. We hope you enjoyed hearing Bink's daring adventure. We post movie recaps every week, so make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.